Managing record for your unit. We will be talking about record management and specifically for your unit, what are the steps to be taken and how to proceed. Developing a unit plan. Before you begin, a unit plan is one of the most important tools you will ever use in your as a role as a record liaison. The unit plan is a document that describes how your unit will manage your information resources. It is intended to be a living document, updated on a regular basis and accessible to anyone at any point of time within your unit. Your unit should contain the following section: the core activities. The sections includes a list and short description of your unit course activity, the main functions of your unit. When I say unit, it can be function. When I say unit, it can be department. When I say unit, it can be location, code, documents, and system. This section contains a list of short description of the document that supports your unit core activities. These documents can be created, can be used, and probably processed by your unit. Once the core documents have been identified, you can determine whether they should be located or whether the transactions should be record or non-records and how long to retain those things. So unit standard, this section establishes the standard management practices for your core documents, including an outline of the folder structures for your shared drive space, a description of a file name, standards of a shared documents, and a guide to manage the core document that are sent and received via email. Disposal process. The section describes your unit. Process for disposing the records and non-records. Cleanup day. This section includes a schedule for regular cleanup day in your unit. To begin with the disposal process for records and to purge unnecessary non-record files. Cleanup days should be scheduled at least once a year. References. This section contains contact information for anyone involving the record in your unit, along with other helpful information such as link that is pertinent to regulation or specific policies and procedures. Let us identify and define the core activities. The next step in your unit plan is to make a list of major functions of your unit, including a small description for each function. This list is your unit core activities. To identify, help a unit core activities is use the following resources as a starting point. Your unit business plan, if at all it exists. Your unit head. Identify the core documents. The core documents are that document that supports your unit's core activities and are usually considers as records. These steps will help you to find the core documents that are created, processed, and used in your unit. This step can also help indicate whether your unit has stored multiple versions of the document so that you can use the best determining which copies should be retained as records, which can be purged at will and no longer required. You can start early by identifying where documents and data are stored as a common practice across your unit. Shared drives, filing cabinet, SharePoint, intra-site, intranet site, banners, and everything included. Identifying core documents. Make a list of all three types of documents of the core documents that are found in the above places, along with the other core documents stored in the areas of a unit or in other electronic storage environment. Once you have found it, listed your core documents, you can determine whether there are records or there are non-records. Establish the standards for the unit. Establishing and organizing folder structures on the shared drive for location for where your unit code document is stored. Creating a file naming standards of the university records your unit creates or manages. Instituting appropriating email procedures to establish an organized folder structure for your unit shared drives, other location approved for storing the records. You should start by reviewing the current structure. As you review the current structures, ask this question: Is it functional? Is it functionally organized to match common business processes of a unit? Is time, for example, the folder called some year 12 reports, somehow noted to facilitate the disposal of the core documents when they are no longer required. Creating a file naming standards. To create a file naming standard for your unit, check the suggestions for naming file document. which lists best practices for file naming. Compare these best practices to a unit current file name and ask for the following question. How does a unit separate words within file names? How are dates formatted in a unit file names? What elements are included within your unit's file name per se? Instituting the email procedures to establish an appropriate email procedures for your unit code document. You should consult with your business manager, co-workers to discuss what type of essential information is exchanged via email. If code documents are received or exchanged via email, they should not live only on the email servers or in an employee inbox. Code documents received or exchanged via email should be stored in an approved system that supports the record and retention requirement for your unit. Let us define the unit disposal and probably the cleanup procedure. Your unit is expected to dispose of non-record documents when they are no longer useful. The record documents when they have passed the requisite period of time, period of retention. The disposal process for records are required that is mandated by the state law. In the disposal process worksheet of a unit plan, you will outline a disposal schedule for when you report the disposal of a unit records. This section will also be where you define your unit's agreed upon processes for disposing of non-records. In addition, your unit is expected to schedule time at least once per year, cleaning up paper, electronics, email file system, along with the disposing of the extra copies of draft and other non-recorded document. This time can be one day, several days, or even a week long. Cleanup days should be scheduled at the convenient time of unit. For example, a unit that is most busy at the start of the year should schedule the cleanup in the middle of the spring semester or after things have or the work schedule has lightened altogether. Maintaining a unit plan. Part of your responsibility as a record liaison is to maintain the unit plan. Your unit plan is not a static document. It is dynamic. It has to be reviewed, update it on a regular basis, at least once a year. You can choose when to update your unit plan. For example, it may be most convenient for you to update it on a year-end close activities are done. After your annual cleanup days, the important thing is to regularly review your unit plan and update it at least annually, once annually. Steps to maintain your unit plan. Review the list of the code activities, the code document, the system, making addition, removal, changes wherever necessary, reviewing the established unit standards and adding or removing the structures, folders, descriptions as on when on required, maintaining your unit plan, editing the file name standards if necessary, changing email procedures if necessary, evaluating your unit disposal, cleanup processes to determine its effectiveness and changing it as required, updating the reference tab, particularly the unit contact information as needed, add your name and date to the plan and up to date the section. Other record liaison responsibilities. Besides maintaining your unit plan and also helping to dispose of the record, your responsibility also include in being resources to other employees in your units to help them determine what documents are required to be recorded, to help answer question what they might have to have about the records. In addition, you should follow the best practices for managing and organizing your electronic files and email. The lesson discusses these responsibilities and how best can you meet them. Being a resources as the record liaison for unit, other employees might look to you as a local expert or university record. You are the first line of defense for the record related question. Remember to be friendly and helpful when other employees come to you with questions. Record can be confusing. Some common questions you might receive include: what is the record? How long to keep such records? Can I dispose of the file? Answer to these questions and others will vary based on your unit features and unit plan. The other record liaison responsibility, practicing best practices. In addition to being a resources as described, you should also model the best practice behavior recommended. This includes keeping your unit electronic folder structured, organized, and consistent, naming your electronic files using your unit standards, identifying any records or supporting documents in your email, managing, organizing your email messages, following the best practices that will help you stay more organized, finding informations more quickly, easily, and ultimately performing your work much effectively. In addition to it, it will help you answer the question about the best practices that you might have, and it may serve as an inspiration to the other employees. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching it.